What is communication? Communication came from Latin term communicare, which means to share. It's the act of conveying meaning to a person or group of people using a mutually understood symbols, gestures, behaviors, and semiotic rules. As much as communication is acquired skills, not everyone can communicate properly, not unless they exert effort to develop and refine their communication skill. The communication process. The goal of communication is to transmit information and the understanding information from one person or group to another person or group. This communication process is divided into three basic components. A sender conveys a message through a channel to the receiver. The sender first develops an idea which is composed into a message and then transmitted to the other party, who interprets the message and receives meaning. This is communication model. First, the sender gives the ideas, then the messages were transmitted via signal, then the recipient decodes the meaning of messages to receiver. After the receiver gets the meaning of messages, it will give the feedback to the sender, and vice versa, the sender gives also the feedback to the receiver. The other important feature is the feedback cycle. When two people interact, communication is rarely one way only. When a person receives a message, she responds to it by giving a reply. The feedback cycle is the same as the sender receiver feedback noted in figures. Otherwise, the sender can't know whether the other parties properly interpreted the message or how they react to it. Communication clearly defines as sending and receiving messages. The figure above shows the communication process. There must be a sender who sends the message and listener who listen or receive the message. Principles of communication. Principle of clarity. The words should be arranged in such a way that receiver understand the same word which the sender conveys. Principle of attention. To understand what the sender means, the receiver should be drawn towards the message by paying attention. Principle of feedback. A feedback signifies that communication is effective. Principle of informality. Formal communication may not accomplish and desired results, so informal communication can be effective and efficient in some situations. Principle of consistency. To achieve consistent result ones must be consistent in the way they communicate. Principle of timeliness. To attain this principle, the sender who conveys the message should make a safety measure when delivering the message. Principle of adequacy. It is important to deliver adequate message at all the times in all respect. Communication ethics. Ethics is the moral system or judgment of what is right from wrong and also refers to the values, conduct, manners, and behavior with the respect of rightness and wrongness of an action. Example of communication ethics. First, maintaining the correct balance between the speaking and listening. Second, a death or an overdose of either of the factors could result in unfavorable consequences. And third, the principle of honesty on both sides should be completely applied because any amount of insincerity from either the listener or the speaker would not be prudent. And fourth, degree of criticism and praise. And last, the legitimacy of fear and emotional appeal. Principles of ethical communication. Advocate truthfulness, accuracy, honesty, and reason as essential to the integrity of communication. Endorse freedom of expression, diversity of perspective, and tolerance of dissent to achieve the informed and responsible decision making fundamental to a civil society. Strive to understand and respect other communicators before evaluating and responding to their messages. Promote access to communication resources and opportunities as necessary to fulfill human potential and contribute to the well-being of families, communities, and society. Promote communication climates of caring and mutual understanding that respect the unique needs and characteristics of individual communicators. Condemn communication that degrades individuals and humanity through distortion, intimidation, coercion, and violence, and through the expression of intolerance and hatred. Thank you for listening.